Hello, my name is Uvaldo Perez Rojas, and this will be my presentation on Chapter 20, Lesson 1, Western Europe and North America. France and the Guayra. Charles the Guayra helped establish the Fourth Republic, but because of issues created a new republic, the Fifth Republic, and became the president. The economy started out great, but it started to fall in which he resigned, and socialists took over, which didn't help at all. West Germany and the economic miracle. Germany had a Christian Democratic Union serve as chancellor in which he cooperated with other countries. Under his leadership, Germany experienced an economic miracle in which unemployment fell. Later, East and West Germany signed a document promising more contact with each other, creating peace. Great Britain. After World War II, Britain had an election and got a new prime minister, which created the National Health Service Act. The British welfare became the norm in European states, but economic problems led to conservatives back into power, and then wanting to create housing and had its first prime minister as a woman, Margaret Thatcher. The European Economic Community. Europe wanted some unity among other European nations, which led to create the European Economic Community, which encouraged free trade among the members and which later would become the world's largest trading bloc. This is a picture of West Germany's Chancellor, Willy Brandt. This map shows the European Economic Community and shows who were the original members and who joined later on. The U.S. after the war. In between the mid-1940s and 1970s, the New Deal was put into place, which brought some small changes to American society. It brought more power to the government and gave answers to the minorities, mainly African Americans, and started welfare. This was time for prosperity for the lives of the American people. The 1960s and civil rights. A new leader would rise as Martin Luther King Jr. leads a march to Washington, D.C., giving an amazing speech hitting right at home for many Americans. But after John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson would become president in 1964 and proceed with equality for African Americans. After Martin Luther King Jr. was killed, riots would hit more than 100 cities, and after which Richard Nixon became the next president. The 1970s and 80s. Because of the Watergate scandal, which Nixon was a part of, he would later be impeached. Then Jimmy Carter became president, but a crisis erupted when the Iranian government took 52 American hostages and couldn't get them back. He later lost to Ronald Reagan in the next presidential election race. This is a picture of Martin Luther King at Washington, D.C., where he gave his famous speech of I Have a Dream, and is one of the most well-known speeches ever given. Western society, a new social structure. As time went on, more changes came into effect and were noticeably in the middle class. Lower class also changed, moving from rural to urban. Wages also increased during this time, making more people reach the middle class. Women in the post-war world. Women during this time gained the right to vote. They had jobs during the war, but were removed. Post-war birth rates had gone up, creating a baby boom, but by the end of the 1950s, birth rates declined. But now women entered the workforce again, but were still being underpaid. The women's liberation movement started up again with a renewed feminism, and supporters of the movement quickly spread, and eventually the Equal Pay Act required women to be paid equally, performing the same kind of work. Student revolts. Students started a revolt on the ongoing Vietnam War, creating the anti-war movement on campuses in Europe. Students thought that the university failed to give them what they wanted, stating that they respond to realities of the modern world. This shows men and women marching together at the Equal Rights Amendment rally in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, 1976. Essential question. How does war result in change? War changes people into getting a new perspective on life. After watching the world for during this time, it would be simple for the world to want peace. As a result of the war, people were now cooperating with each other instead of against. What challenges may a country face after war? Countries may face instability after war, noting that economic problems were a major thing during this time. Many leaders tried and failed at taking charge in some countries. A lot of chaos happened after the war. Thank you for watching my presentation on Chapter 20, Lesson 1. I hope you enjoyed it.